I'm Katya,
And I'm Rin.
and we're from the Commonwealth Center for Holistic Herbalism here in Boston, Massachusetts.
Still.
February is Black History Month.
It was.
February was Black History Month. Today is March 8th, and we.
It's actually the 9th. Because we're late. A lot. And that's fine, we think, because we also think it's kind of silly for Black History to only get 1 month. You might agree.
So we're going to celebrate Black History Months with hibiscus. Hibiscus is this is hibiscus actually. This is our house hibiscus, and hibiscus grows.
It's way better than the bunny ears thing, right? House hibiscus. This is hibiscus too. These are some dried calyces, which is a fun word to say. It's the plural of calyx, which is a part of the flower that's not exactly petals, even though everybody basically just thinks they're petals.
Also, they're delicious, and you don't even have to make them into tea.
Yeah.
You can just eat them just like that. They're really tasty.
You may have noticed that we actually really enjoy eating whatever random herbs that we can chew and swallow happily, so I hope you're into that too.
So hibiscus is native to West Africa. And since then, it's been naturalized all over the world. You can find it everywhere from South America and the Caribbean to our street. It's growing on our street outdoors, and it survives the winter. This is a plant that really wants to be with people and wants to grow wherever people are.
Yeah. So in terms of its medicinal nature, hibiscus is cooling, it's moistening, it's relaxing, and we find it to be useful for a broad array of things because of those qualities. What it's probably most famous for is being a pretty broad-acting anti-inflammatory due to the high concentration of color or pigment compounds that are in there. And it's maybe a little hard to see, but like here's a French press of hibiscus tea, and it's so red. And I think you're mostly getting glare from the screen in there, but anyway, it's so red. And it's really wonderful, and it drags all that color out in just a couple of seconds after you pour the hot water on. And that red is these compounds that are antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, and can reduce heat and oxidative stress in the body in a lot of different places.
Those pigments are actually really interesting to me. A lot of times they're referred to as bioflavonoids. But the interesting thing to me is that the pigmentation, the deep red color, the deep dark, bright, vibrant color, is not an indication of antioxidant content or antioxidant activity. It's not an indication of bioflavonoid presence or activity. It actually is the antioxidant and bioflavonoid. And we experience this all the time. Even if you just think about a strawberry, if there's a dish of strawberries, which one do you want to choose? You want the deepest, brightest, darkest red one. You don't want sort of the pinky, not really ripe, whitish pinky one. So as humans, even without training about the chemical constituents that make those colors, we're already seeking out those bright colors innately, knowing that they are necessary for our bodies. And I just am fascinated by that.
Yeah, it's nice when you can use your senses and have an idea of what's going to be important or relevant. Some specific actions for hibiscus that can be really useful to a lot of people. It can help to lower high blood pressure. And it can reduce expressions of heat that are showing up primarily in the cardiovascular system. So that can be the high blood pressure itself. It can be redness and a flushed face, feeling subjective feelings of heat, perspiring easily, things like that.
Palpitations.
Yeah, palpitations for sure. So hibiscus is going to help to calm down all of those heat signs and reduce the fire and help people to cool off. It's not so much maybe an early March drink, but we're just really excited about it. And
I think that's also really cool because cardiovascular disease hits African Americans and Black Americans so much harder than any other demographic, not just in this country, but in the whole world, actually. And it's amazing that there's a plant from Africa that is perfectly suited to assist in that. So I think that's just really beautiful.
Yeah. And it turns out that hibiscus can support people with multiple complication conditions that come along together with diabetes. So that would include high blood pressure, oxidative stress throughout the body, stress on the kidneys and kidney damage. All of these, hibiscus has been found to reduce the severity of and help people to wind back the kind of organ impairment that's happening as a course of that disease. And there's some potential, some preliminary results indicating that hibiscus can help to control blood sugar in a very direct way as well. So there's sort of multiple mechanisms of action that are interesting there. There's one that's been pretty extensively studied with hibiscus where it helps to reduce cholesterol levels. And it actually has an action that's kind of similar to the way statin drugs work. But of course, in hibiscus, that's not the only thing that it's doing. And it's not doing that in a way that is bound to override the effect of or the innate intelligence of the body or all of the other things that are trying to keep balance in the system. So if it needs to be said, we kind of much prefer hibiscus to medications if we can ever get away with that and if that's ever possible for people.
It's so fascinating to me the way that the more that we study about these plants scientifically, the more that we learn that the traditional understandings of them are being validated even by our microscopes and by randomized controlled trials and all these things. So that's really nice to see those things being reflected. Hibiscus also is really effective for kidney health. It is a diuretic, so you will notice that you pee more when you drink it, and that can be a really great thing, can be very effective. You may find that happens more when you make a cold infusion than when you make a hot infusion. Hibiscus is a mallow family plant. So just like marshmallow or any of the other mallows, it has some demulcent action in it. And that is moistening and soothing and also hydrating. So even though it's diuretic, having that demulcent action helps the body to maintain a water balance better. So to get the most of that demulcent action, you'll want to make a cold infusion. A cold infusion means that you're just going to take your hibiscus calyces and put them into a mason jar, whatever, and put room temperature water. You don't put boiling water, just room temperature water, and leave it set for like 4 hours. You'll be surprised very, very quickly, like within 60 seconds, the water will already be turning pink, even though you only used room temperature water. It wasn't even boiling. And I would recommend that you make both kinds. Make a cold infusion and also make a hot infusion. So this one was hot, but make them both and drink them both. Yeah, it's so red. And drink them both and see how you feel the difference in your body. You may feel that the cold infusion has a little bit of a smoother feeling in your mouth, and you can think of it almost like being a moisturizer for your internal parts of your body. And you may find that the warm infusion, maybe that one makes you pee a little more, maybe the cold infusion makes you pee a little more, but those kinds of experiments are really great to do so that you're starting to learn about these plants in your own body, and that's going to back up what you read in books. Yeah.
So get yourself some hibiscus and enjoy it. You might also know it under other names already. You might have heard of it as roselle, or sometimes people just call it sour tea, because that's kind of the most dominant flavor you're going to get out of there. But however you call it, hibiscus is lovely.
And you can grow one right in your house.
Yeah. All right. See you next time.
Cheers.